What if I told you there's a crypto that's faster than Bitcoin, cheaper than Ethereum, and it just won one of the biggest legal battles in crypto history? XRP isn't just surviving, it's thriving. Ripple is now applying for a US bank license, and XRP could soon shake up the $150 trillion payments industry. But does that mean XRP is about to explode? Or is this just another crypto trap? In this video, we'll uncover exactly what's next for XRP, including its real utility, the latest legal updates, and price predictions that could shock you. Now here's where XRP stands apart from most other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, too slow and expensive for global transactions. Ethereum, also congested with high gas fees. XRP was designed from day one as a bridge currency, a tool for banks and payment providers to send money across borders instantly. The XRP Ledger, or XRPL, doesn't rely on traditional mining. Instead, it uses a fast, energy-efficient consensus mechanism that settles transactions in just 3 to 5 seconds. That's right. While Bitcoin can take 10 minutes or more to settle, XRP gets it done in the time it takes you to blink. Even better, it can handle 1,500 transactions per second. And the cost? Practically nothing, about $0.0002 per transaction. That's why Ripple's on-demand liquidity, or ODL solution, is gaining traction worldwide, helping financial institutions move billions across borders quickly and cheaply. XRP isn't just digital money, it's becoming the financial rails for global payments. XRP isn't just some speculative crypto, it's already at the heart of real-world financial systems. Today, over 350 major financial institutions across Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Americas are connected through RippleNet, Ripple's global payment network. And here's the kicker. Ripple's on-demand liquidity, or ODL, saw its volume double, from $500 million to $1 billion, in just the first half of 2025. These aren't just numbers on a screen. Ripple's technology is actively powering high-traffic payment corridors like the Philippines to Japan and Mexico to the United States, dramatically cutting settlement times and slashing capital costs for businesses. Beyond payments, XRP is also fueling innovation through Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, pegged one-to-one with the US dollar, and their on-ledger decentralized exchange, or DEX, giving it even more utility as a bridge for digital assets. XRP's role? It's evolving from a cross-border solution to a multi-utility financial powerhouse. For nearly 4 years, the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit dominated crypto headlines, and 2024 to 2025 was no exception. In December 2024, a US court delivered a landmark ruling. XRP traded on public exchanges, what most everyday investors buy, is not considered a security under US law. However, XRP sales directly to institutional investors, those were ruled as illegal securities sales by Ripple. Ripple was ordered to pay a $125 million penalty and received a permanent injunction restricting future institutional XRP sales in the US. But here's the big development. In mid-2025, both Ripple and the SEC dropped their appeals, ending the lawsuit once and for all, with the original judgment staying in place. The takeaway for XRP holders? Secondary market trades, buying or selling XRP on public exchanges, are now essentially cleared from legal risk in the US. Sure, Ripple faces restrictions on its institutional XRP sales. But for everyday investors and most crypto traders, the long shadow of regulatory uncertainty has been lifted. And there's more good news? The broader US regulatory climate is shifting. In recent months, the SEC has lost or dropped cases against major crypto firms like Binance and Coinbase. Even the judge in the Ripple case acknowledged that US regulators can shift their enforcement priorities. Meanwhile, Ripple is now pursuing US financial charters, further signaling that institutions are warming up to XRP under this maturing regulatory framework. In short, after years of legal battles, XRP may finally be stepping into regulatory clarity. Ripple isn't stopping at legal victories. In July 2025, Ripple made headlines again, announcing that it had officially applied for a U.S. national bank charter and a Federal Reserve master account. If approved, this would allow Ripple to bypass middlemen in payment processing, directly settle transactions, and operate under federal regulatory oversight, a massive boost for its legitimacy in the U.S. financial system. In fact, news of this application alone caused XRP's price to jump around 3%. Ripple's move mirrors what we've seen from other major players like Circle, the issuer of the USDC stablecoin, signaling a broader push toward regulatory clarity in the crypto sector. But Ripple's strategy isn't just about licenses. In October 2024, it launched its own RLUSD stablecoin, pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar. This stablecoin is already being integrated into Ripple's global payments network. If its Fed account is approved, Ripple could even store its stablecoin reserves directly at the Federal Reserve, making it one of the first crypto firms to operate at that level. Between the stablecoin, the bank charter, and a growing RippleNet ecosystem, Ripple is positioning XRP at the center of its expanding fintech platform, blending crypto, payments, and traditional finance. Now let's break down XRP's current market standing and why many investors are watching it closely. As of mid-2025, XRP consistently ranks as a top 5 cryptocurrency by market cap, valued around $120 to $130 billion, with a trading price near $2.20. Its all-time high, $3.84 back in January 2018, a level it hasn't yet reclaimed, mainly due to the years-long SEC lawsuit. However, in late 2024, after regulatory clarity finally arrived, XRP staged a stunning rally, soaring roughly 500% in just a few months, showing impressive resilience. Here's where XRP gets interesting for long-term investors. XRP's tokenomics are unique. A total of 100 billion XRP were pre-mined. Today, about 59% are circulating, while the rest are locked in escrow, with roughly 1 billion XRP released each month. The XRP Ledger also burns small portions of transaction fees, making XRP slightly deflationary. In just the first half of 2025, nearly 180,000 XRP were permanently burned through network usage. Plus, with fewer XRP scheduled for release over the coming decade, supply growth will naturally slow, potentially supporting prices if demand rises. And it's not just supply dynamics driving interest. XRP's technology keeps evolving. In 2025, the XRP Ledger launched a major upgrade, an EVM-compatible sidechain that enables Ethereum-style smart contracts, opening doors to DeFi, NFTs, and new decentralized apps. Between its fast, low-cost ledger, deflationary mechanics, and growing use in finance and DeFi, XRP's fundamentals look stronger than ever. With Ripple's lawsuit against the SEC officially settled and terms now fully known, the short-term price outlook for XRP has become a hot topic. Several key factors are now driving XRP's near-term price action. First, broader crypto market trends, like Bitcoin cycles and the altcoin season, remain crucial. If Bitcoin enters a strong bull run, altcoins like XRP often follow. Second, macroeconomic conditions, such as inflation data, interest rates, and global liquidity, are likely to impact crypto markets in general. Third, developments around crypto-focused ETFs could unlock new demand. Progress here could be a significant catalyst for XRP. Many analysts are growing optimistic. One recent technical analysis suggested that if XRP holds above key support at $2.25, it could rally to around $2.70 to $3 in the near term. Some Wall Street analysts and even AI models are projecting even higher moves. Google's Gemini AI model estimated that XRP could reach between $3 and $3.50 within weeks of legal clarity, and potentially soar toward $5 to $8 over the next year, assuming bullish factors align, such as ETF approvals and increased institutional adoption. But forecasts vary widely. One prominent crypto blog sees three potential scenarios. A bullish case could push XRP above $2.80, possibly testing $3.50 by year-end. A neutral case keeps XRP in the $2 to $2.50 range. A bearish case predicts a drop back toward $1.80 if the market weakens. Meanwhile, some aggressive forecasts even target $5 by the end of 2025. But those projections often assume large-scale institutional inflows or crypto ETF launches. In the near term, traders are closely watching technical levels around $2.25 to $2.40, as well as major news, especially on ETF approvals and regulatory changes. Bottom line, XRP's next moves may hinge on both technical levels and market-wide crypto sentiment. Now, what about XRP's long-term price potential, looking out to 2026 through 2030 and beyond? The truth is, long-term XRP forecasts vary wildly. Some algorithm-based models, like those from Changelly, predict modest growth, estimating XRP could trade around $3 to $4 by 2028, and possibly between $6 and $7 by 2028-2030. However, more optimistic reports suggest far higher numbers. One well-known market report projected that XRP could hit $26 by 2030 under aggressive adoption scenarios, and even floated an extreme target of $526 by 2050. But it's important to note, these higher forecasts typically rely on very bold assumptions, including massive global adoption of Ripple's payment technologies and an extended crypto supercycle. In reality, XRP's long-term price will depend on several key factors. First, adoption of Ripple's payment solutions, especially for cross-border remittances and interbank transactions. If Ripple captures a large share of that market, XRP demand could rise sharply. Second, ongoing XRPL technology upgrades, like smart contracts, sidechains, and tokenized assets, could expand XRP's utility beyond payments. Third, macro risks remain. Future regulatory changes, competition from other blockchain networks or CBDCs, and global market conditions could all impact XRP's growth potential. And remember, XRP's large pre-mined supply and Ripple's significant holdings still make the price sensitive to both market sentiment and broader crypto cycles. Bottom line, XRP's long-term future holds both opportunity and uncertainty, and realistic investors should weigh both. So, here's what you need to remember about XRP. First, XRP's core strength lies in its real-world utility. It's a fast, low-cost bridge currency powering RippleNet and on-demand liquidity, already used by banks and payment providers worldwide. Plus, its technology is improving, thanks to the new EVM-compatible sidechain and a carefully managed supply through escrow releases. Second, the legal cloud has finally lifted. This has reopened doors for U.S. exchanges and investors to re-enter the XRP market. Third, short-term momentum looks favorable. Analysts and traders are watching for XRP to potentially retest resistance near $3, especially as regulatory risks ease and ETF speculation continues to circulate. And finally, the long-term picture remains mixed. Conservative models predict modest growth, single-digit prices by 2030, while bullish cases envision XRP climbing into the double digits if blockchain payments go mainstream. Ultimately, XRP's future will depend on how much real-world adoption Ripple can achieve through banks, remittance firms, and decentralized apps, along with how regulations evolve globally. Remember, All price forecasts are speculative. This is not investment advice, just an analysis of potential scenarios based on today's information. That wraps up our deep dive into XRP, its utility, price outlook, and future potential. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more crypto breakdowns, market insights, and updates. And now, it's your turn. What's your price target for XRP? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.